Hey guys, Caden here, and welcome to Season 3. In this video, I'm going to be going over what's new with this season, including map changes and balance changes, as well as giving my thoughts on the season so far. I have quite a bit to say, so brace yourself, and let's get into it. Also use my code, thanks. Season 2 was ass. I'm just gonna put it bluntly. The meta was horrible. There was no way to come out on top of a fight unless you had either a drum shotgun or a combat SMG. There were tanks, airstrikes, the Mark 7 got voted back in, fucking LMGs, jetpacks, terrible shotgun changes, the list goes on. Not to mention they destroyed Tilted again, literally the only POI from last season to be affected by the war. The only good thing to come from last season was the live event and zero build mode, depending on what type of player you are. In the weeks leading up to the event, the Seven were rebuilding the mech and trying to make amends with Paradigm in hopes that she would help pilot it. The mech was being rebuilt in the hopes that it would destroy the imagined organization's doomsday device, the Collider. The main goal of the Collider was to destroy the Zero Point and end all life on the island. While we don't really know why they wanted to do this, we do know that this was ordered by Geno himself, leader of the IO. Eventually, it was time for the mech to destroy the device, so you and 3 other people took control of the weapon systems while Paradigm was the pilot. The mech set a course from the moon base to the island and landed near Synapse Station. The IO had all of their forces stationed on the island, ready to take down the mech, and at one point they actually did. While the mech was down, he drove over with a slurp truck, and that somehow was able to repair all of the damage it took, and put it into overcharge mode, which pretty much just gave you infinite ammo. All the IO forces on the ground were eliminated, and the Collider was almost destroyed, but for some reason the ground beneath it collapsed, and so did the mech. Jones was under the map fighting the IO and helped us escape the mech, but soon after Sloan started firing at us with a tank and we had to get to lower ground and fight more guards. Dwayne showed up and we started climbing up a staircase, and the Zero Point started showing glimpses of different realities like the California desert and Star Wars. Sloan is at the top of the staircase and Jones tried to reason with her. She wasn't having any of it, and just before she fired at us, the mech regained power and crushed her, supposedly killing her. A glimpse of Geno appeared in the Zero Point and Dwayne and Jones jumped in. We had to shoot the crystals attached to the bottom of the Collider to stop the Zero Point from exploding, and we succeeded. The Collider is destroyed and the imagined organization is no more. Or at least for the time being. There's a new biome at the bottom left corner that looks like an acid trip. The ground is blue, the trees are purple, and there's a shit ton of oversized mushrooms. Near the top of the biome is a massive indestructible tree called the Reality Tree. There's some tunnels inside this tree and a few chests that spawn at top. Getting high enough to the top of the tree will cause you to begin skydiving so you can reposition for an easy rotation. Greasy Grove is also in this new biome and has sustained heavy damage from mushrooms. Command Cavern has gotten a complete makeover and is now called Rave Cave. This POI is the only one in the game to have ballers, and for a good reason. There's a massive baller roller coaster that goes all around the POI and is a really easy way to get that baller quest done. Also, the area is surrounded by a slipstream for easy repositioning. The vault in the POI no longer requires a keycard and now functions like the vaults of the 7 POIs. In terms of minor map changes, everywhere that used to be IO territory and Sanctuary have been covered up in spray paint. The Collider no longer exists, the Zero Point is technically exposed but underwater, and parts of the Shark, Dusty Depot, and the Chair have returned to the new biome. Get this W. Not too much has changed gameplay-wise, but things that did change are pretty major. For starters, staying in the storm for a combined total of 7 minutes will give you storm sickness, which makes you take 15 damage per storm tick no matter what phase it is. You will be warned 1 minute in advance, and you will be cured when you leave the storm, but if you go back in, you will still take that increased damage. This basically kills going for the heal game in competitive. Also, from the roots of the Reality Tree go purple spores, and destroying them will give you a Reality Seed. You can plant the seed anywhere you want to grow a Reality Sapling. The sapling will give you loot depending on how much it's grown. In order for it to grow, you have to weed it, and each time you weed it, it will increase in rarity, all the way up to Mythic. Yeah, that's right, you can get Mythic guns from this. Currently they're bugged and they don't have their correct stats, which for most of them is a nerf, but for one of them... I already mentioned that ballers are back, but they have been updated. They now have 400 health and have a limited amount of battery. Moving, boosting, and using the grappler all cause the battery to drain. Once you're out of battery, you can't use it anymore, and there is no way to recharge it. Also, tornadoes are back, and from what I can tell, they always spawn near the middle of the map. We should probably start off by listing what got vaulted, so let's do that. For vaulted weapons, we have the thermal rifle, LMG, Mark 7, drum shotgun, thank God, balloons, airstrike, homing rockets, storm scout, hunter bolt sniper, and all the mythic boss weapons. The only thing that got unvaulted this season was the chug cannon. You can find that from llamas, malfunctioning vending machines, and purchasing it from my boy Kyle at Logjam. Somehow the combat SMG didn't get vaulted, which I don't understand, but that's epic for you. On to new weapons. There are 3 of them, and in my opinion they're all pretty mid. First off is the new 2-shot shotgun, which fires 2 shots at a time, go figure, for 54 to 66 damage with a lengthy time between bursts, 8 bullets, and a reload time that is not nearly as slow as the stats say it is. I'd guess it's probably about half that speed. This is probably the worst shotgun in this season. The only scenario where I see that you would pick this up is if you literally cannot find anything else. There are probably some people who will be able to put in some pretty decent work with this, but literally any other shotgun will give you better results. The next weapon is the Hammer Assault Rifle, which is literally just the Scar H. To the people who wanted the Scar back, here you go. Now shut the hell up. Anyways, it does 27 to 33 damage, a 5.8 fire rate, 20 bullets, and a 2.48 to 1.98 second reload time. The weapon description says that it has unique recoil, and for once Epic didn't lie. This gun actually has a recoil pattern. It's very similar to the RE45 from Apex Legends in the sense that it goes diagonally up to the right. It also has very solid hipfire accuracy, so if you like to play that way, then you should give this gun a try. All I can really say is that I think that there's finally a weapon that the Ranger Rifle is better than. Finally, we have the DMR, which is the first of its kind to be in a new weapon category, Marksman Rifles. The DMR is modeled after an M14 with a scope attachment. It's intended for mid to long range combat and has bullet drop. It deals 45 to 55 damage, it has no damage fall off, 2.5 fire rate, 10 bullets, and a 2.75 to 2.25 reload time. This is probably the best weapon out of the 3. In build mode, you can 4-tap a person to the body at any range with 200 health if you have a blue rarity or higher, and in no build, it's a 5-tap. If I had to put these weapons on a tier list, I'd put the Hammer in the 2-shot in C tier, and I'd put the DMR in B tier. If you're wondering what the best loadout is for this season, it's pretty much the same as last season, but without the drum shotgun.
And then attacking your fortress.
So far, this season is pretty fun. They didn't vault all of the OP items from last season, but they did get some of the major ones. And despite the new weapons not being really good, they do feel fun to use, and I'll occasionally run them if I'm feeling a little silly. The Reality Sapling is a very cool concept, but the state of the current mythic weapons kind of ruins it. The main thing I'm looking forward to is when Darth Vader becomes a boss and you can use his lightsaber. That'll be fucking sick. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.